Hey everyone, Pastor Jason here with another edition of TC Talk. My question for you today is, what are you obedient to? Obedience is not something that we like, something that we enjoy, because honestly with obedience we kind of feel like we're not in control. We like to be in control of our lives. We like to be in control of everything around us. And when we don't have that control, a lot of us just don't feel right. It feels weird. The Bible tells us that we are obedient to either the Spirit of God or our flesh. We can either be obedient to what God has, or we can choose to be obedient to something else. Are we obedient to things of this world, or are we obedient to eternal things that truly matter? We've been going over a series called The Fight of Your Life, and we've been talking about different battles that we face. Last week we talked about the battle of standing up for your faith. We talked about how the Israelites sent 12 spies into the promised land to check it out, and they came back with a report of, yeah, things are great, things are incredible, this is going to be amazing. However, 10 of the spies said, we can't do this, it's impossible. 2 of them said, yeah, we got this. Joshua and Caleb were faithful and they said, God can get us through this, whereas the other 10 said, we can't. So all of Israel went with the 10 spies, and because of their unfaithfulness, God punished them, so they had to wander in the wilderness for 40 years, and not a single one of them got to see the promised land, except for Joshua and Caleb. So we fast forward 40 years. The Israelites have finally made it into the promised land. They crossed the Jordan River, and guess what? People are living in the land. They have to conquer the land. And the first city they come to was Jericho. It wasn't a big city, but it was a heavily fortified city. They say you could ride chariots all the way around the walls. Like, the walls were so thick, you could ride chariots all the way around. And the gates were locked, and there's no way anyone was coming in or out of this place. And yet God spoke to Joshua and he says, I have delivered Jericho to you. In other words, God says, I've already given you the victory. But God says, but I want you to do something too. I want you to be a part of this. God was testing them. God wanted to see if they would be obedient. And so God asked them to do something that, to be quite honest, was a little crazy. God said, you are to march around the walls of the city once a day, and you have to be silent. And you have to do this for 6 days. And then on the 7th day, you're going to go around not once, but 7 times. And then when you finish, you're going to shout, and I will make the walls crumble. So sure enough, the Israelites could have said, you know what? That's crazy. We're not doing that. But they knew they had to be obedient. God would be faithful. So they did just that. First 6 days, they went around 1 time silently. Day 7, they went around 7 times. And when they finished, they gave a loud shout of praise, and the walls came down. And the Israelites were able to go into the city and take the city. From a human perspective, that's impossible. But from a God perspective, nothing is impossible. I asked you last week, what is your promised land? Maybe you need peace, maybe you need joy, maybe you need security. Whatever you need in your life. You see the promised land, and you know God wants you to have it. However, you have now reached your Jericho, your first battle, and it looks impossible. God says, if you would just listen to me, do what I say, trust me, I will deliver Jericho to you. And I believe just like God delivered Jericho to the Israelites, he will deliver the impossible battle that you're facing to you. He's already promised you the victory. Church, as you go throughout your week, what is your battle? Think about that. What is your battle? What are you facing? What seems so impossible that right off the bat, the enemy is saying, see, your first battle, you can't get past this. I encourage you to say, devil, get away from me. God has already delivered the victory to me, and he will do so again. Stay strong and stand firm. Remember, keep your faith. God sees us and God will reward us for our faith. Get ready to take your promised land. Church, we love you, and we can't wait to see you again. We'll see you soon.